And I was like, how do you travel so much? Like, I'm like, hotels are so expensive. You get these shared Airbnbs, they're so sketchy. I stayed in a shared Airbnb one time in Seattle in a shared room. It was terrible. The lady was grabbing my face when I woke up.
No.
It was like, and the place is super gross. I was just like, I was like put off of share. Yeah, so but I was like, I want to like meet people and have amazing experiences.
So tell us your name.
Okay.
And what you're doing here in Baltimore because you don't live here.
Yeah.
And then I have like 1,000,001 questions for you.
Okay. So my name is Miriam Stiles. I am living in Oakland, California. I'm originally from Augusta, Georgia. And I'm in Baltimore just to check it out and see the area, see if it's somewhere I want to like make a long-term move to or not. I have some family in Maryland, so that's why I'm considering Baltimore as an option.
That's really cool. So this is a little different than typically how I would do a Strangers on the Street episode. I actually met you prior to this, but this is our first time meeting in person.
Exactly.
Will you tell me a little bit about like, one, how you found me, and then we can kind of talk about like how that's evolved.
Yeah. So I went to Berlin a few years ago and I ran into this girl who was traveling, and she told me one of the ways she travels more inexpensively is by linking with people and like getting them to host her, and vice versa, not just getting them to host her, but like, you know, mutual hosting. And I was really inspired by that. Years ago I tried couch surfing, but couch surfing's always kind of felt a little
can be a little creepy.
Yeah, you know, and we've tried it. I tried it one time and the vibe wasn't right for me. But I always kept them in mind. She told me there's like Facebook groups. She's like, you should check out women Facebook groups. I didn't even do that. I heard about this app called Kindred. I don't know who told me about the app. Maybe she might have mentioned the app. Who even knows? And so I got in the Kindred app, and I thought it was going to be really cool because I thought I was going to be like, oh, you get to meet all these people and like negotiate. But then when I used the app, it was like set pricing. The pricing was the same as like Airbnb. I was like, what's the point of this app? So, but I saw your space and I saw that it was available. So I was like, let me just message her and see like what she like, if what I can work out with her. Maybe we can do something off the app. She seems cool since she's on the app. It seems like, okay, she's vetted. You can trust her.
Safe.
You know, enough.
She's a real person.
You know, yeah. So I was like, versus, and I like staying in apartments and homes, but sometimes Airbnb, you know, it's tricky with Airbnb. And a lot of times, that's the other thing about Airbnb is that you don't know the area as well. So
right.
Like we stayed in one in Detroit, and it was fine, but it was like the area was not the most ideal area. Like the space wasn't that nice. And I just feel like I've been let down too many times.
Yeah.
And I wanted to also come somewhere and build a connection with somebody. And Airbnb doesn't always facilitate that. And Kindred seemed like it was a little bit more about that. Anyway, so I reached out to you, and you messaged really fast, really back. Because I was like, maybe we can do an exchange, maybe you can come to Oakland. I can come out here. I was like, that would be my dream. I still want to do like a one-to-one exchange with somebody. Like, I'm leaving Oakland for this time. They can come stay in my place. Anyways, you messaged back really quickly. We talked on the phone for like 45 minutes. I was like, hopefully she doesn't think I'm too weird.
I was worried about that too. I was like, oh my God, she doesn't think I'm crazy because I'm just shoving information down your throat.
No, it was really cool. I was like, okay, like I'm so excited to finally visit and check everything out. Like I just wasn't expecting things to come together so quickly, especially since I think it was about 2 weeks out from the trip, or like about 2.5 weeks out. Like I was getting ready to go to Berlin for work, and I was like, I gotta find some accommodations.
I really love meeting new people. I really love connecting with folks that are like kind of happen chance. Like you're just like, oh, I bumped into this person and now they're my friend. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I used to love travel. And so when you reached out and you were like, and I was like, I don't know how this works, but let's talk. It made me really happy because it's the first time I'm sharing my home with a complete stranger that wasn't through like Airbnb or something like that. And sometimes Airbnb falls short for me because I want friends.
You want to connect, right? And sometimes Airbnb
is a community.
It's too transactional. Yeah. But then Airbnb can be awkward sometimes because sometimes you could tell the host wants to connect.
Yeah, and, like, and then you don't want to connect. Yeah, I'm that person.
But it's just hard to say.
Yeah.
So it's, but if it's something a little bit, if you're going into it with the intention of connection, then it's nicer. Because even if you're trying to connect with Airbnb, it still feels really like, here, the checkout. I don't know. It's just,
it's weird.
Yeah.
So when I used to travel a lot, I always randomly met people who would welcome me into their homes.
Wow.
So in 2021, when I first started doing the traveling table, I'll never forget this one woman. I've still never met her in person. She's someone who I met through like a community of women facilitators. And I had posted like, where should I go next? I'm thinking about these locations. And she lived in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. I was not interested in going to Las Vegas at all. It's not my vibe. But a few different people who I knew were all going through Las Vegas at the same time.
Yeah.
And she was like, look, I won't be in town. Come stay in my home. Yeah. And like, it was incredible because it was so nice. It was comfortable. It was cozy. I felt safe. And it was also kept my costs low because it was her home. And then it built our friendship, even though we've never met in person, right? Because we got a different way of kind of like connecting with one another. And I just think that's a really special way to travel and meet new people. And it's scary sometimes, right? Because you're like, who am I going to meet? How's it going to go? Am I going to like this person? Am I not? But I don't know. It opens you up to like learn things about an area that you might not ever learn otherwise.
That's one of the things when if you don't go off the beaten path, then you don't. It's hard for things to have that serendipitous feeling. If you're just gonna stay in the hotel and go on the Vaeda group trip, it's like, okay, I mean, that's still fun. Nothing's wrong with that. But I definitely want to have more of those experiences. I don't always want to stay at hostels or stuff like that either.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about like your traveling experiences, because it sounds like you're trying to tap into other parts of life. Like, help me understand a bit more about like what is that for you and what's driving you?
It's a desire to be connected. And like I said, like when I met that woman in Berlin, she also traveled a lot. And I was like, how do you travel so much? Hotels are so expensive. You get these shared Airbnbs, they're so sketchy. I stayed in a shared Airbnb one time in Seattle in a shared room. It was terrible. The lady was grabbing my face when I woke up.
No.
It was like, the place is super gross. I was just like, I was like put off of shared. Yeah. So I was like, I want to like meet people and have amazing experiences. And so she was like, yeah, I just connect with people and they seem cool. Then I stay at their place. And I was like, and I think the thing that changed it for me too is in 2019, I was like, I want to quit my job and just travel around and hang out. And I was like, I want to go to New York for a few months and hang out. And everyone's like, oh, New York's so expensive. But my friend knew this musician on Instagram, and that musician had posted that she had an open room in her house in Brooklyn. And so I stayed in that house for 3 months. And when I moved out, this girl I had met in the Bay, she was like moving her friend into the same house. I only met her that year, and I like that feeling. And even though I don't feel like I like made all these connections with the people I lived with, I still had a really good time, and I was able to stay somewhere. Now that house had a lot of memories. The house had no air conditioning. It was New York in the summer. I was sweating to death every day. Like, they had like a really cute like hammock in the backyard, and I was like, oh, it's so cute. I got bit after like 2 seconds of being outside. But
East Coast summer.
I was like, yikes. But I had a really fun time doing that, and it wasn't that expensive because I was getting a room in like a brownstone.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, I want to have more experiences like that. I don't want to have to necessarily take off 3 months to do that, but if I could have 3 or 4 nights there, like doing that, that's really great.
What do you feel like you've learned from doing those types of things? Like, what have you learned about yourself or about other people?
I think my time in New York, I was like, I don't like to go out like that. I like daytime. I just want to push. I feel like I'm very restrained as a person.
Okay.
And I always want to find out how to like not be so locked down and so restrained. Like, and I feel like it helps me get out a little bit out of that like bubble that I'm in. That's so easy for me to form with people I'm around. Though I don't feel like I've completely fixed that,
Sure.
Maybe that's just life and who I am to some extent. But I also just know every time I have like a different experience, I just feel enriched. I just feel possibilities. I love to feel like possibilities. I think it's one of the most fun things in life. It's just to feel like things can happen like in a positive way, and that like anything's possible. Kind of magic.
Yeah. I like that perspective, right? Like that anything is possible, because I think similar, like I am extroverted and curious and like really like to be out in the world, but I am also very shy and scared and nervous about a lot of interactions. Yes. And so when you put yourself in a situation where you can't do anything but
Move
experience
forward.
it, and go for it, the way it exposes you to stuff that you just could never have imagined, like that's the magic to me, right? Like that's where like I think life opens up. And unfortunately, I think we're taught to go in a very regiment way, right? Like we're taught from such a young age to like, this is your schedule, this is what you do,
this is the path.
and for me, when I break outside of it, like in my head, I get this visual of like, this is so weird. I get this visual of like goats breaking through a fence and just like running
for it, going for it,
yeah,
getting it.
like, you know, like the rolling hills. Like that's what I picture, because it just feels like you're stepping outside of this confinement that you're put in, or this expectation that feels very blocky, right? And so I don't know. I like the way that you just described that so much, because I resonate with it a lot. What's your favorite memory out of all the times that you've traveled or just been pushed outside of your comfort zone or push yourself outside? What do you feel like is like the one thing that kind of stays with you that you're like, this is what's going to keep me pushing myself outside of my comfort zone?
It's funny because when you were talking, I thought about how I think sometimes I feel like people who grew up as socialized as boys, like, I feel like they're always encouraged to push the envelope and try all these things. And I feel like I was always very encouraged to like get good grades, go to school, be a good person. Like you can do that stuff when you're older, and you can do whatever you want when you get older. I remember talking to somebody, and she's in a band, and I was like, I wish someone just told me like, go join a band when you're young, like go just do that and tour. But it's like my family would have been like, what are you doing? I did join a band for a few years in Oakland.
Would you
I play the drums.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I did do that for a few years. I was telling somebody I still want to go on a tour one day and just do like a little baby like Pacific Northwest tour. But I was answering your question with this, and I'm like trying to remember what the thread was, where I was going with that.
Like, what's your favorite memory? What's your favorite like moment that pushes you, that you like hold with you when it's like time to push yourself outside of your comfort zone? What's your, trying to think what maybe would spark the thread for you?
I think it's just that like that childhood self of like wanting to have all these different adventures and thinking that I couldn't have those because I had to be a good person, right? And you had to focus. And so funny, on the way here, you were talking about being in 4-H, right?
Yeah.
I was in 4-H too.
Were you?
I loved it. Yeah.
I love it too.
I loved it. And in 4-H, I feel like there was a lot of like encouragement to like explore yourself and do all these different things. I was telling somebody the other day, I used to judge chickens. And,
my gosh.
I used to judge chickens. We had like with the weirdest activities. We had this thing called Cotton and Consumable, and you would like it was like supermarket sweep where you would like judge how to like buy stuff at the grocery store. We had I don't know. I feel like my 4-H might have been like really bizarre.
I love this.
But I feel like they always had that. We did Toastmasters. We did like it was so explorative.
Yeah.
I don't think I have found. Like when I grew up older, I don't think there weren't spaces like that.
No.
But I was always encouraged to like learn and explore and share in that space. And I think there's that part of me that just refused to like. It went underground for a bit, but that part of me resurfaced, and I was like, I want to learn, I want to share, I want to explore, I want to try new things, I want to have these experiences. Even if I'm not like the best drummer, I want to experience playing shows and drumming in a band and recording, and hopefully one day.
I just got chills thinking about that.
And it's funny, I always wanted to be a drummer in a band, like when I was a kid, but I just felt so shy. Like I felt that I didn't. How did I feel? I remember like I finally summoned the nerve to take drum set lessons. I was so embarrassed. I was like, I sound so bad. Everyone's probably laughing at me. Like I had so much shame. I was drowning in shame, you know? And I quit the lesson because I was like, I don't want people laughing at me. I don't want people to like witness me not being good at something. I think being able to like join a band when I'm older and pushing through that shame is nice. I still know I'm not where I want to be in terms of the shame. Cause I still have these self-deprecating moments where I still are like, I'm so down on myself for not accomplishing this. Like I still compare myself too many times. I still see like, oh well, it's like I meet these amazing women and I'm like, I want to be those amazing women. My friends are like, you are that, yeah. And I'm like, no, well, so and so's doing this and this person's doing that, and I'm like, sometimes it still is like I still don't. accept myself.
Yeah.
But
It's hard for us to see ourselves the way other people see us, right?
Yeah.
Like we have such a high expectation, and that expectation is always changing as we
Yes.
grow. We don't realize that we've moved the mile marker on ourselves
all the time.
So I'm curious, you said a few things that like made me think of some conversations I've had recently, and so I'm curious where it lands with you. Like you mentioned shame quite a few times. Like I think that shows up for a lot of us, right? Like the fear of connection or the fear of like being seen or like stepping outside of your comfort zone. And it's tied to the shame, right? And the shame like shows up in a lot of different ways, but like where do you think yours comes from, like that like blocks you?
I was dying of shame.
You were dying of shame? Is that what you said?
I really was. And this question is hard because it's like I was always taught like you can't blame other people for your problems. You can't say anything about other people when it comes to who you are, which I think is not true. But it's like if I were to be like my family of origin, that would feel incorrect. I would feel disrespectful because it's like, well, they've given me so much. I can't be like they've given me shame too. But maybe it's the good and the bad, right? Maybe they've given me lots of love, but they've also given me lots of shame as well. So I think society, the way I grew up, I've received a lot, but I've also received a lot of shame and shame practices from just being alive. And so I don't want to blame society or like, you know, blame my parents or anything like that. Like I don't want to seem like that because at the end of the day, like whatever you were given, I think it's important to recognize that, but it's also important to move past it. I don't think we can move past it unless we truly understand where it comes from. So I think that's important. I think I'm trying to skip over that part. I'm trying to get fast forward.
No, and let me be clear in why I'm asking. I'm asking it because, like, I feel like someone told me recently that the more you talk about stuff, like, you let go of the shame, right? Because you realize that, like, other people probably have experienced something similar, or it's a framework that you were given as a child, or it's a way of like expectation that's been put on us that creates it. And so I think my curiosity is coming from like, what are those stories that we're telling ourselves that we don't need to keep telling ourselves, essentially, you know, like, and to your point, I agree. Like we can't put everything on someone else. And there are things that we learn that it's like, okay, maybe that doesn't serve me anymore. And maybe that's the thing that I shouldn't like. Why am I shoulding myself? Like should like it sounds so weird.
SHOULD. Yes, I know what you mean.
You know, like that's so that's where my question's coming from.
I understand. I think I still have shame about the source of the shame. I think I'm in this internal battle of like, I don't want to say anything negative about my family. I don't want to say anything negative about how and where I grew up because it's so much work to raise somebody, and I recognize that. It's so much work, especially in our society that gets very little support. It's so much work to raise people. And so I never want to be like, I didn't get this or I didn't get that, you know, because plenty of people get plenty of things, right? But I think you're right. It is also important to think about the frameworks that we had growing up and what we learned growing up.
Right.
And not see that as... not see that as a way of shaming our parents. I think I thought of shame as transference. Like if I talk about it from my parents, I'm shaming them. And I think because shame hurts me so badly, I don't want to shame anybody. But I don't think that's true. I think that's one of those stories that I need to unlearn is like if I talk about what I experienced, that is not shaming that person. And I think that's one of the big things I grew up as is like if I said anything negative especially about my family, then I was shaming them. I was saying they didn't have enough, they didn't do enough. And that's not true. I think I'm just saying like this is how I felt, and I don't have to justify how I felt. I'm not saying I thought they did good or did bad. I know they did what they had with what they had.
Sure.
But I think that's one of the biggest stories is that that speaking about your experience is not shaming somebody else.
It's how you do it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's like what I keep hearing from you, what you're saying is like two things can exist at once, right? Like someone can do the best that they could do and give you the best that they could give you and give you what they thought was appropriate, right? And times also can change, right? And it could have been not the right thing for you. And, you know, like my mom and I have had some conversations about like what I needed and what I want. And a lot of that comes from just like me getting older and being more self-aware. And it's not like her downfall. It's not her inability to be a mom, because she was an amazing mom, is an amazing mom.
Yes.
It's just more like we get exposed to more. There's more learnings and research and awarenesses that we get access to over time.
Yeah.
And like that's, therefore we have to change with that. Anyway, it's just, it's nice to hear someone else's, I think, reflection when it comes to those things. So I appreciate that.
I love that you could talk to your mom. Sometimes I get so envious.
Sometimes challenging. She's very patient with me. I am probably a difficult child to have.
I think that's
a
good,
lot of
though.
questions.
I think that's good. I think there's too much glory in being biddable and being obedient, and I don't think it serves anybody.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. Yes, I absolutely agree. Okay, so what is next for you in like this journey of like everything?
We're going to talk about this in depth, but I'll just give you a high level. So my job, I won't go into details about my job, but I'm going to hit 7 years of my job in November.
Congratulations.
At the end of 7 years, you get a sabbatical paid.
Wow.
And I think I'm going to do it around this time next year, sometime next year. And so I'm really thinking, like, what do I want to do at this time? And I have all these ideas. I think you might have some generative stuff for me as well. But the thing I'm really talking about, so when I did my sabbatical in New York, I was having this, like, all this pressure on it. Like, I'm going to do this, take this time off for work. I'm going to, like, come out fully formed with, like, this new business idea and all this stuff. And, of course, I just got a job. But it was
funny how that works.
It was so stressful. Like, I spent my time in New York just being all ashamed for not figuring out what I was going to do in my life. Like, I was putting so much pressure on this one thing. And so my next sabbatical, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be come up with this idea or change the world or whatever. It's going to be have a good time, because that's what I did in New York. Excellent place to have a good time. But I think I want to go abroad this time.
Okay.
I was literally looking this up this morning. I want to do some kite windsurfing lessons. It's kind of like just my fun thing. But the thing I really want to do is like an artist apprenticeship. I want to find an artist and work in their studio or work on a team making a movie or something like that. And I don't, because a lot of times there's like artist residencies where it's like, go make this project. And I'm like, I want to work in a creative environment and like be a part of a team that creates something. Now with what skill set and what skills, I don't know yet.
You'll figure it out.
I have a whole year to figure this out. So that's what I'm thinking about. And I got to figure out what kind of art, what kind of artists, who I want to reach out to, who do I want to like collaborate with, what I want to offer them. But that's my dream for my sabbatical. I think go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm thinking for people in the audience, thinking Cape Town, Durban, South Africa.
Okay.
There's some other places I like. I really love Turkey. I would love to go to Morocco. Spain keeps coming up, but I'm like, I spend too much time in Europe. Like I've been going to Europe a lot. And I'm like, I can't.
It's time to branch out.
Yeah, I've been to the continent, but I haven't been to the continent since before the pandemic.
Okay.
So I'm like, I think I want to go to somewhere, an African country.
Love it.
It's been a lot of time in Europe these last several years.
Yeah,
so.
It's time for the next thing. So what I love about that is earlier you talked about like visiting back to like the childlike things that like bring you joy or like kind of like branch you outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And like, going back to any kind of creative route to me, or going to a new creative route because maybe you didn't have that as a child, I think unlocks what life actually is, right? Like we get so consumed with our work because we have to, right? Like unfortunately,
pay rent.
The way
our mortgages, take care of our families, you know.
Yeah, the way that the society is designed, we have to survive, right? But like experiencing life is so much more than that, and you have to like, I don't know, account for it. And so it's awesome that your work is allowing you to, it's providing you the opportunity to do that. Yeah. Because it's also when I see people just kind of come alive, right? Like, I also love that you're like, I'm not going to come up with an idea. I'm just going to exist. Because that is actually when you get your unlocking.
Exactly.
When you're like, I'm going to stop, I'm going to pause, and I'm just going to
let things unfold.
Yeah.
And it's funny when you mention the creative route, because one of the things I think a lot about with this upcoming sabbatical is when I was in high school, I'm like such a nerd. So I was a Girl Scout and I wanted to get my gold award or whatever thing. It's like Eagle Scout thing. And so you have to do a project. I don't think I ever finished the project, but one of the things I did was I worked at the local news station. And I was a camera operator.
Oh, how cool.
And it was really fun. I did that for like a month. And
how old were you?
17.
That's so cool. And you got to do that.
Yeah, and it was because my Girl Scout troop leader, who I literally ran into in December, like, because my parents live in Texas. That's where I went to high school.
All signs right now.
And then she was like, Miriam? I was like, hey. But I work, and she still works at the news station. She like runs the news station. That's still her job to this day. I was like, oh, you still doing that? She was like, yeah. But I worked there because she was my troop leader. And it was a really fun job. And I was like, should I get into this career? But I was like, they were like, girl, we don't make any money. Like, don't do this.
Take a different route.
Yeah, they were like, no. But it was really fun. Like, they would have, I was just like an employee. Like, I would be on camera when I had a headset. And I would like, they'd like make food on Fridays. I could like go out and film it. It was really, like, I had such a good time. Because actually what happened was, I shadowed somebody for a week, and then they were like, oh, the camera person's quitting. Do you want to take this job? I worked from like 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. every morning. And my mom had to like drive me there because I didn't drive.
Wow.
It was really fun. And so I want to do something. I've tried to like figure something out similar to that experience over the years. But
like shadowing or like how to tap into those kind of the skill opportunities.
Yeah. So one of my friends, she was like, oh, you should really just work on like a film crew. Like, no, because usually most films, they don't actually film, especially indie stuff, they're not filming for super long. And so she was like, I don't think I would do the camera thing. I think you need to actually be like a cinematographer.
But you could go shadow.
I could go shadow.
Yeah.
She was like, they usually need people to do a lot of organization work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was something.
I had two friends that transitioned into like film production later in life, like from a completely different career. And the way they got started, they lived in Georgia, and well, one of them did, and another one actually lived in where were they? Anyway,
Somewhere.
doesn't matter. But still, they shadowed.
Yeah.
They just went and shadowed and hung out on set where they were allowed to, and slowly learned the skill set.
Yeah, that's what I love to do. Just spend time, because I think when I was in New York, I did a program called Recurse, which is all about like creating your project and being creative. And I think the thing that I learned is that doesn't energize me. Like the like, I feel like it's a shame part too, because it's like, oh, the people who are cool are the people who come up with ideas. But I'm like,
that's not exciting for you.
It's not exciting for me.
So I think that's like, okay, you keep coming back to this shame piece, but what I think is really cool is earlier when you're talking about how you want to be these people, you are testing so many things in your life. And like, that is, I mean, how many people actually get those opportunities, right? We have such linear.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people choose very linear lifestyles.
Which is respect, like
totally. I'm not knocking
it's hard to make whatever you do. It's hard to make it out here unless you already got everything going on. So
totally. And what I'm loving about hearing from you is like, you're almost not afraid, or if you are, you're not sharing it. You're almost not afraid to just like try new things and like be new at something, and like that's how you figure out like what enriches your life and what doesn't.
I think I used to be scared.
Okay.
But I also knew, like, I'm very determined to get what I want. In some ways, like, I will, even if the shame is, like, killing me, I will be so, there's a part of me that will, like, hold on for dear life. I think this part of me comes from where I went to high school in Texas. My parents, I'm originally from Georgia, and my parents moved to Texas, and I hated it there. And I was like, I want to move. I want to leave as soon as possible. And at the time, my best friend in high school, she was going to be a Marine. So she became a Marine. We both were just, like, so like committed to like our vision of our lives, and we would talk about what we wanted to do, and like people would just be like, oh, right, like a lot of people in that area, they don't really go anywhere. I mean, a lot of people in a lot of areas don't really go
I was going to say, it was the same where I grew up too,
Yeah, where are you from again?
Virginia, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, a small town.
I see.
Yep, so they stay there. They're like there for life.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, like
nothing
shame
wrong
in that
with it.
game, because I've definitely people I link with now, and they're like enjoying their lives and doing their thing too. But me and my friend were just so committed to this, and like we would just sit around and we'd be like, we're getting up out of here, but we would still have a good time. We would experiment. We sneak out to clubs. We would have a good time. Like we drink. We just act silly. But at the end of the day,
you made it out.
But we knew we were moving.
Yeah.
We knew we weren't going to stay there.
Yeah.
We graduated. She went directly to boot camp. I went directly to college. Like
that's great.
And I think that experience, I was like, and my parents were just like, where are you going to go to school? I was like, I'm going to go to Spelman. That's the only school I applied to. They were like, well, what if you don't get in? I was like,
you're like, I'm getting in.
that's crazy.
That's not an option.
Right.
What do you mean?
And so I think I just learned, like, if you're so focused. But I think the thing that kind of hindered me in that was that I got super focused. So I moved out to the Bay. I was in Atlanta. I liked Atlanta, but I was like, I want to be somewhere where things are really moving and shaking. I moved to California. And I was in the Bay, and I got fired from my first job. It's not surprising in hindsight. Like, I think I just didn't know.
Yeah.
People try to tell me, but I'm a little stubborn.
Okay.
And
so you didn't pick up on certain cues.
I don't know. I feel like I don't always get in line. I don't feel like I always.
I see. You question authority.
I do.
Yeah.
I think that can be really frustrating for people. They're like, you need to just play the game. You need to be quiet and play the game.
I'm not good at playing the game. I've never been good at playing the game.
I am the worst game player.
Me too.
I am the worst.
Me too.
Like, I think my new manager hates me because he's just like, he literally told me, like, you need to just play the game. I was like, I hate games. He was like,
yeah, that's corporate America. No, I don't have it.
I was like, I don't have it either. And I'm like, I need to find something else to do, guys. But also, like, I've been in this job for a while. Like, I was like, if they fired me tomorrow, I'll be sad.
But that first job being fired, I think it's an interesting opportunity to learn about yourself, especially if you're like super focused. Yeah. Because when you're so super focused, you miss a lot of this that's going on, which is what you're doing now. Is just like kind of outwardly focused now.
Panning. Yeah.
Yep. And while being fired is pretty traumatic sometimes, it's also what I've noticed kind of a blessing sometimes, because it kind of forces you to look at yourself and look at what's out there. And usually it's a cue that you need to be out in the world and not where you were anyway.
Yes. But of course I was very committed to California. It's like I found a job and I got laid off. And then I found another job. But then I hated that job. But I just ended up staying, and then I like saved up money and
you just need to live life.
Yeah.
Why are we going to work? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Girl,
I'm kidding.
Listen,
I
was one of those people reading like 4-hour work week and trying to figure out like, the FIRE movement.
No.
But it's so funny because I literally was reading this over the weekend, and this guy blogging, and he was talking about like, I realized this a few years ago, where it was like, the goal is not to retire. I mean, obviously I want to have money saved, but my goal really is to truly find something I can do for my whole life.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to one of my friends, and she was talking about her mentor who's like he's a priest, and he's like 80 something and still living his life. Like, I think if you can find something that gives you joy, that makes you want to wake up every day, I think that thing does not have to be your full-time job.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also think that, like, unfortunately, again, because of like how society is and the way of the world right now, we kind of have to just like show up and do the thing.
Yeah.
But I think the people that really win in life are the people that live life and the works around it. Like, there is a way to do it, right?
I think so too.
It doesn't work for everybody because not everybody wants that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to sacrifice something to get to that place. Yeah. And sometimes it takes a while to get to that place. But I've seen it happen. I experienced it for a while.
Yeah,
like,
give me some examples.
Well, like, I mean, think about portfolio careers. Like, doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody loves it. But like, if you have an eclectic lifestyle, and let's say you want to do some like media creation, but you also want to have some real estate, and you want to have, I don't know, an event hosting experience, right? Like, you can do all those things. It's going to stretch you really thin, but as long as you're not hustling, right? Because there's a difference. You're doing it just to like exchange cash, or you're doing it in a way that it's built around the things that you enjoy doing.
And you can build energy from it.
Right. And again, it doesn't work for everybody, but it can work for a lot of people. Yeah.
I think I'm looking towards something like that. My examples are the ladies who do my hair. I love them in Oakland. They're like the best. The mom and a daughter. Photogenic salon in Oakland, Telegraph.
Love it.
But they're just the most dope people I've ever met. And one of them is studying herbalism, and the other one's studying acupuncture.
Okay.
And they do hair. They're like phenomenal hairstylists. But they're also like, well, these are things we can do until like our 90s, right? You could be a 87-year-old herbalist. You could be doing acupuncture. And so I'm like, I like how they think. Like, I like that. of just like, yeah, you might have your main job now and like what you're doing now, and that's fine too. But you're
Sure.
also thinking like, I'm like, what kind of work do I want to be doing at 87? Like work that would feed me and nourish me, and how can I be building the foundations for that right now?
That nourishment piece, I think, is the biggest
Yes.
word. Is like, I kept thinking of like your chest, your heart, like
Yes.
what's feeding your soul.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm curious, what is like one thing, if someone's like scrolling through and they like, this catches their attention, what's like the one thing that you want someone to take away from learning about your experiences, whether traveling, meeting strangers, or just like the way that you're choosing to live life? Like, what's that number one takeaway?
I think we were talking about this in the car. Don't be afraid to ask. I think also I read a lot of books, so it's very, I feel like a lot of times I'm just like, and this book I read, blah, blah, blah. But I think, and especially for Black people, this is something I read in this book that I will not forget. It was just a book about going to college and how like which college you pick can really like impact your earning potential and like what you study, blah, blah, blah. We all knew that. But one thing he mentioned is like, Black kids in particular who go to these elite colleges, they think the point is about being elite. They think the point is about making good grades. And when you're in these elite circles, I don't want to be over there. But the point isn't about making good grades. The point is about socializing and like talking and being fun. And I think especially for like non-white people who are like extraordinary or outliers or like in these spaces, it's like we're taught like, oh, you need to hustle, you need to be better than everybody else, and it's like, no,
don't.
And you're actually actively doing yourself a disservice if you have access to these spaces and you want to be in these spaces, and you're in these spaces and you're spending your time studying books and sitting inside, because the real action and the real power is in the collective everywhere. And as much as like rich whoever people want to tell you that's about hard work, the real currency and collection is in the collective. And as much as like these rich people want to tell you like, oh, we don't believe in sharing, all rich people do is share. All they do is share recommendations, houses, everything. So I'm telling you, it's like people are like, oh, I don't have friends, I can't afford friends. If you don't have money, the best thing you can get is some friends. If you can't be rich in money, you better be rich in people.
That is probably the best advice absolutely you could ever give someone.
Yeah, I'm like, you better, whatever it is you get access to, like, if you better collect that and feed people, like not one way. Like you don't need to read a book, you don't need to how to win and succeed to make a friend. No, you need to figure out how to like give and receive.
Yeah.
And how to, figure that out.
It has to be both ways. That give and receive is huge, right? Because like if you were only to give and you never received, like that feels awkward for the other person. Yes. And vice versa, if you were just receiving, right, at some point you kind of run out of people to receive from.
Yes.
It's got to. That's great advice. Yeah. Great advice.
Yeah, so y'all go make some friends. Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And like ask questions, right?
Yeah.
Like again, if you hadn't asked me the question on that app and said, hey, like, can we do this differently? And also me asking, like, I actually have something else going on one of those days that you're renting. Do you want to share this space? We would have never had this conversation. We were both brave and asking something kind of oddball, but it like led to us hanging out.
And I think people also put too much expectations. Like they ask something and they're like, I didn't get it, I'm never gonna ask again.
Who cares?
Just relax. So
just relax. Like that.
But it's okay. That's like people my whole life would be like, relax, and I'm like, I can't. I'm so so
you're here. Love it. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Thank you for being here, and I really hope that you like Baltimore, or that it serves a purpose for you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah.